Autodesk have recently released their yearly report exploring the digital landscape of design and make and what it means on the ground for companies starting or continuing their development and incorporation of new and exciting technologies and processes. This short video presentation will provide a snapshot of one of these key areas, which is close to my passion for education, upskilling and talent management. First though, let me introduce myself. I'm Richard White, AECO Technical Development Manager here at Man & Machine, and whilst I help support and guide businesses and construction professionals, my passion for digital education extends into the national and international organisations. With my background in architectural technology, I've worked in cross-discipline organisations on project delivery, and since joining Man & Machine over 6 years ago, my experiences have taken me forward to not only running a team here, but also guiding the training businesses, project teams and individuals as professional certification lead for Building Smart UK and Ireland. But that's enough about me. I'm here to talk about the recent update report, State of Design and Make 2025. So let's start with the source material, this document here. The report is the third annual output issued by Autodesk addressing their views and research on trends and topics which affect anyone who creates information or utilises digital software and workflows. Each year the writers compare previous industry findings, and with this being the third of its kind, we can start to draw parallels and see some patterns relating to the factors affecting businesses in construction, design, manufacturing and the entertainment industries which are served by Autodesk software. Typically, each year the report is broken down into key findings and outcomes, which draw on surveys of businesses to gauge on how teams are flexing to the pressures and impacts to construction and other industries. At Man & Machine, we hear about these pressures and changes within the industry from many of our customers and teams that we strive to help. So the answers posed in this report come as little surprise to us. The report has 8 insight sections with key focus on economic pressures hitting every business, not only in the UK but globally. The growth of emergent technologies and disruptive behaviour of some, such as artificial intelligence. And lastly, one that is closest to my own business focus, skills gaps within the organisational structures and need to upskill, retain talent and grow to meet the changing agenda of clients and building owners, highlighting a very different data-driven landscape. Each of these subjects are intrinsically linked to one another, with a varying importance dependent on individual businesses and the value placed on digital enablement and their progress that may have been made to date. It's often the case that early adopters will see results earlier, whilst often putting more funding into research and development to be at the forefront of change. The report from Autodesk is available to view with interactive graphics dependent on your region, as well as a downloadable version with a broader messaging around the core topics. This can be found in that link at the bottom of the page. The core topics of discussion can be subdivided into more granular subjects such as sustainability, recruitment and even digital maturity when dealing with the tendering and scope expectations of a project, each of which may impact different parts of an organisational strategic approach or project delivery processes. This presentation will provide an insight into the skills gaps review with responses which were gathered by Autodesk and some of the views which are affecting businesses we have spoken to recently and will likely resonate with all of you listening to this video. Taking the focus towards the skills gaps in the industry, the report highlights the need to not only recruit new talent, addressing the next generation of construction professionals, but also the retention of skilled team members and upskilling of the workforce to address technological and process change. The combination of these will address key factors such as transfer of skills from an ageing workforce, whilst adding new skills groups from pre- and postgraduate individuals who are being taught utilising new technologies or digitised processes, leveraging the latest hardware and software available to the industry. For many businesses that wish to be at the leading edge of service offerings, there needs to be investment to develop new and existing service deliverables, as well as incorporating your staff who need to deliver them. Investigating one of the first graphics from the report, it addresses the key challenges that companies face today, with 23% of businesses focused on attracting and training staff, coupled with 30% of businesses focused on technology advancement. indicates that organisations are being held back by what is often the top answer, which is controlling costs and overheads. Unfortunately, training tends to be one of the first things to be cut when cost-cutting exercises happen, which is often counterproductive because it raises dissatisfaction in staff, whilst active investment in training usually results in productivity gains and improved service offerings, therefore bringing more revenue into a business. Concern about costs are followed by persistent challenges of time and skill allocation, one of the most cited obstacles in a business. There is often a struggle to meet planned goals while also trying to do more with fewer resources. The more digitally mature an organisation is, the less concerned its leaders are with the cost and talent, and the more concerned they are about the actual technology and its implementation, which can often lead to a conflict. Something we see a lot is finding the right talent is challenging. They must know how to work with the software and have a technical understanding of the products that we're designing. It can be very hard and expensive to find the right people. One way to bridge the skills gap is to invest more in the workforce training throughout continuous learning programs, but implementation of continuous learning programs has declined in 2025, likely due to less available funds within an organisation to develop their staff. Budgets aside, training teams can hold other challenges. Nearly half of all the respondents say that they do not have the resources to plan or implement internal training programs, indicating that the tight labour market is impacting upskilling initiatives across different organisations, often with a key focus to spend the money on more expensive talent to bring the skills into a business, as opposed to upskilling internally. When addressing technical skills, the buzzword of the moment has definitely been AI. And whilst this technology has been present in various forms for some time, it seems to have been pushed to the forefront as a saviour to all our problems. We should, however, appreciate that whilst AI poses some new opportunities to be integrated into software that we use, it's still only a tool which can help us improve the outputs of our projects. We should not forget that the core digital skills are still needed in the production. Use and exchange of data still sits at the heart of our project outputs, and with further need for interoperability and the interconnected nature of projects and teams, things like digital design skills, project management processes, and software programming are still high on most design and construction firms' agendas. Not to overlook the final point on this diagram around data security, data safety, and soon elements such as operational readiness and risk management will also be of key concern. You only have to look to the launch of ISO 19650 Part 6 earlier this year, which most definitely will start to play a big part in project organisation, addressing the long-term use of storage of information and the traceability of data. Decisions through an asset's lifecycle, health and safety related data, and other elements around these key factors are likely to appear on this type of list in the next year's report. As noted, AI is only a subset of the technology we have available. It allows us to interact and in some cases automate processes which allow us to reach our final result, but it doesn't work on its own and relies on rules, checks and measures to ensure that we have a plan on how to get there. More products and services are now offering AI enhancements to our current tools, and we're likely to see more integration such as Autodesk Assistant, which is now available in AECO, for example. It often gives us better access to the data and the information that resides within the project to be able to do more with them in a quicker way and in a controlled manner. From a skills perspective, keeping up with these changes required for things like AI can vary from a simple expansion of current skills on existing platforms with new tools to full-blown programming requirements, which often need a different type of individual to help build customization, where there is a focus on problem solving and code writing, which seems to be one of the key focuses for larger digitally aligned organizations. Confronted by multiple implementation obstacles, some organizations are turning to third parties to fill the gaps. While external suppliers seem like an ideal solution for organizations tight on resources, their efficacy remains in doubt, with over half of surveyed business leaders saying they do not meet the needs of the organization. Training also relies on targeted understanding of the business need, and a lack of understanding of team skills results in generalized training which have limited benefits as opposed to specific needs to address project deliverables. Notably, from companies held back by a lack of access to skilled talent, less than 10% of companies said that they were using AI to fill this gap. Instead, organizations are focused on hiring workers with AI skills and programming knowledge instead of upskilling their current teams. This process often does not address the long-term benefits of strategic training approaches. Training should always be part of your overall business development strategy, building your business as usual approach, aligning your organization towards digital incorporation, which should include having business and overall digital vision of where your organization wants to be, defining the processes to help you get there with key milestones along the way, having a roadmap and key performance indicators or KPIs, which are meaningful things to measure against, creating working parties and steering groups to help define and document those journeys towards the defined goals, and identifying the skill gaps and putting in place training and development plans to plug those gaps, ready for when the implementation takes place. Part of any upskilling process is that it should not be the sole responsibility for one person to manage everything with a BIM or digital title in its name for any organization. We're all information managers after all, and we should look to evolve our roles to include digital overlays for all team members. Getting wider team buy-in and support here is also key to a well-implemented plan, which therefore leans back on educating the wider teams to gain an understanding of processes, technology, and terminology. At Man and Machine, we can help support a variety of software and process-based training courses, enhancing the way that you work and spreading the knowledge to more within your delivery team. Whether this is an initial move from 2D to 3D by adopting an information-rich model environment, or more technical data deliverables, we can help a business with a skills development approach based on the project and client needs. This might include elements like 3D visualizations, automation, or open data standards, moving towards utilizing use cases beyond a pure 3D model. We can start to leverage both geometrical and alphanumerical information for analysis, coordination, issue management, and other tools which can enhance and provide interoperability for your projects. Depending on what you need to achieve, we can look at your training plans and support to ensure any new tools are embedded within the business and projects as swiftly as possible. Man and Machine can help correctly configure software and train staff in other ways because everyone learns differently. We employ a combination of implementation processes, teaching methods, and training courses to ensure that systems meet the needs of the organization and it's used correctly for your projects. This includes our e-learning platform, which also provides an added layer of support and guidance to teams when administering and training new staff on things like Autodesk Construction Cloud, Revit, or AutoCAD, for example. In conclusion, it's difficult for any organisation to implement and learn on their own. Seek advice and educate the whole team to understand that everyone has a responsibility in a digital delivery environment, and we have some new rules to make it easier in the long term. The Man Machine team are here to offer advice, training and guidance to provide both a direction and a trusted construction and design experience to help avoid the pitfalls of implementation in the design, construction and operational spaces. Whilst we have expertise in many areas, we cannot know your business better than you do. So by sharing your experiences, your team can use our knowledge to grow in confidence and skill.